In a world where few live a life in excess, something revolutionary is born. Those who dare to break free from the norm find themselves rewarded. Through innovation, a new standard is created. Introducing Bitcoin Wines.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wine, Women, and Crypto. We have our sponsors. I'm so excited about that sponsor, Bitcoin Wines. And what we're going to make sure that we do is put an actual discount code down below so that when you want to go and order your Bitcoin wine, this is the first of its kind. Um, you can order it. We have a code for you to utilize, and you can enjoy your wine. It gets delivered to your door. That being said, let me move my glass. We also have these Wine, Women, and Crypto glasses that are available here at Crypto Blockchain Plug. If you're interested, we also have t-shirts, which I don't have with me today because I've just been running all over trying to make sure that I am doing my show and making sure that I was here for Kimberly today because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a star among us. And I tell you, I said this a little bit earlier this week. You know, we are on Clubhouse all the time. We're running back and forth in between meetings and doing different things. And it wasn't until Kimberly actually had an opportunity to come to California where we actually got a chance to talk and sit and learn about each other. And I think that it's really good for us as sisters, as business partners, men and women, all of us, to really get to know each other so that you understand why people do what they do and how they function, because it really helps you understand who they are. And it really helps you, not that she's hard to deal with, but it really helps you get a good perspective on why they are who they are today. And so, in saying that, this sister has been a powerhouse since I met her. She has been all things, knowing all people. You need something, you can call Kimberly. She opens up that Rolodex and she can find someone that can assist you with whatever it is that you're needing. And she's always had an open heart. She has always had an open mind since I met her. And I'm just really thankful for the opportunity to be in her presence. And because this is Women's History Month, as I've been saying all day, this is her story, not his story, but this is her story. I thank God for Erica because she thought about, hey, how about for Women's History Month, we interview Kimberly. And I'm so happy that we are doing this. I want the rest of the world to get to know what an incredible friend you are. I am going to say this because it may not come up because we've got time and we're going to be talking, and this is going to be not formal. It's just going to be you and I talking to thousands of people. But I just really have to say the type of friend that Kimberly is. So let me say that again. I don't know, almost a year ago. I'm looking at the date. Today is March. I would say that last year, this time, I did not know Kimberly. I will be honest and say I probably didn't know Kimberly. I may have known her name, but I didn't know Kimberly. But Kimberly has been as true as friends that I've had since junior high and high school. Um, she has really she puts her relationships in everything that she does. And it's just really been an incredible experience. And I'm not saying that because she's on the screen. I'm saying that because, it's very seldom that you find women that function in the capacity that she's functioning. And I really appreciate her and all that she does and all that she brings. And without further ado, I talked about the friend side of her, but I want you all to know about the business side of her and some of her personal things. So, Kimberly Booker, welcome to Wine, Women, and Crypto. How are you today?
Thank you, Najah. I am humbled. I am honored to be here. I'm honored that you would feature me and my works and the service of the organizations that I'm with. So thank you so very much, sis. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Well, this is the least I can do because I tell you, when I reached out to you coming across country, you were all that and all there, and made sure we got on the radio and made sure that things were set up. And I just watched you work from not knowing anything, that you took care of everything. So today is your day in Women's History Month to really share and affect change in some other woman's life. And so I will ask you to only share what you want to. Of course, I'm not
Sure.
going to bring up anything that you don't.
Sure.
Um, but I really want folks to know, like, your work background, your history. Before we get into how you were raised, I want you to really just share with folks some of the projects that you've been on because people never know who they're talking to or talking down to, right? Or who
Sure.
they're dismissed. And so I want folks to know what big baller we got in our midst. So tell us some of the companies that you work for and some of the projects you work for.
Sure. So, my background is radio and broadcasting, multimedia, actually. And actually, with that, I started in radio back in the late 80s. So, I was able to see radio evolve into what it is today and always stayed connected to it, right? My very first, what I like to call, salaried that I could afford my family on was CBS Broadcasting. It moved me to Maryland from Richmond, Virginia, where I left my family behind, tripling my salary overnight just to move to the DMV area. So I brought my kids in tow and came up to CBS Broadcasting, and I worked behind the mic and in front of the mic. So I ran front office as a director of continuity, and I was also on the microphone. And I had been on the mic before at a previous radio station in Virginia, where I actually met my very best friend, Clovia. We met in the late 80s, and it was she that helped orchestrate some of those details that you mentioned. So I definitely didn't do it alone. She helped orchestrate some parts of what you needed when you came through the tour, and I did too. And we just wanted to make sure that Richmond represented well and that the DMV represented well. So my background, again, being radio broadcasting and communication, I went from there to Verizon. And I was supposed to just be a call center person. That was very good money. But they found out about my radio background and my broadcasting and entertainment background, and they pulled me off the phones. And that's when Verizon wanted to get into the business of doing concerts and music. And, that's when cell phone service was just supposed to be, where it was just evolving into what it is that we know it to be today. And so I took a role that had me all the way across country, all over the place. With Verizon, we rolled out DSL, we rolled out, TV Fios, as you know it. My team actually named that thing Fios. And it just, Verizon wanted to be this monster broadcasting behemoth. And with that, though, I took that experience and really honed in, because when you're working for a Fortune 100 company, you have got to keep your ears and eyes open, because you're there when the doors open. You're there, they're on ground level, and you're right there with them in the trenches. And so I made certain that I networked with managers and that I always volunteered for different things. And I went to different departments that I didn't know anything about. But if they called, I went, because I wanted to really learn what that type of entity, how it runs, right? And why it runs. So being a person that really believes in the value of relationships and return on relationships, I did work for people so that they could help me along as well. And so that turned out to be very great. So I climbed that corporate ladder, Najah. I really did. In a short period of time, I was making six figures, living in one of the best counties in the country, Prince George's County, Maryland, gorgeous Prince George's. So, and that this county is the most affluent African American county in the country for like maybe now we're at about 13 years and running. So it was important to me to bring that American dream to my children and my husband at the time. Unfortunately, though, along that corporate ladder climb, and I got to tell you, I was jet set. Do you hear me? I mean, it was nothing for me to jet in, kiss my babies, put them in the bed, stay the night with them, and then have to jet out before they would even wake up. So I certainly lived that life with corporate America. I ran the Mid-Atlantic, so I had 9 call centers underneath my span of control. And I'd only been with the company for less than 7 years at this point. So I was really doing great things. And I was happy that the company had confidence in me and what I was doing. Unfortunately, though, I filed for divorce from my husband, but we were co-parenting and it was amicable and we were doing well. And in the midst of that, we lost our middle child, Alexander. Alexander was 12 when he passed away. And that changed the trajectory of my professional life in as much as it did my personal life. I left Verizon almost immediately. Within about 30 days, I left. And I started a nonprofit in Alexander's memory. And I didn't know anything about the world of nonprofit. I'd always volunteered here and there. I'd mentored youth ever since I was a young person myself. But the loss of him triggered something in me. And I just felt that this was my purpose. And I felt that if I was going to lose my son, there wasn't going to be another child that we would lose the way that we lost Alexander. And so the Alexander Lance Booker Child Safety Foundation was formed. I am actually the founding executive director. Clovia is the vice president, and we just sought out to really change the lives of youth by mentoring, giving them different experiences, sending them to camp. Everything that Alexander loved, we poured it into this nonprofit. And the tagline for the nonprofit is, may the loss of one pay the toll for many. And that's what we continue to do. So to date, we have raised over $500,000 since Alexander's passing. So since 2008, Alexander passed in 2007. We became a nonprofit in 2008. And since then, we have raised over $500,000 to send kids to camp free of charge in the DMV area. And so I just, I feel that was a part of my purpose, but I didn't stop there. I continued and co-founded yet another nonprofit. So.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna just stop right there for a second because a couple of things come into that. When I first started emailing you, your email was keeping kids safe. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you see things and you wonder why, but you don't ask why, because if you grew up like I grew up, sometimes you don't want to hear why.
Right.
And then to understand that your son was actually, you lost your son, and you wanted to keep kids safe, and then you had this foundation. Not only did you have this foundation, you are about $105 in weight, but you are the strongest person I have ever met. Like I could not ever imagine the loss of a child. And I know, as much as folks say, still to this day, my condolences. But sister, you are super strong and his legacy lives on through you. And not only that, you've sent a child through Crypto Kids Camp organization. Yeah. And so you never even told me that backstory when you all said we're sending the kids to camp at Crypto Kids Camp. And I literally did not learn about the loss of your son until you were just here in California. And I was just in awe because you would never, ever know, because you just move in strength and courage. And it just blew me out of the water. And so that was the first blow out of the water. But the second blow out of the water, I need you to go back and share with our viewers. I need you to go back and share with our viewers, if you will, how you grew up. I know we
Yeah.
fast forwarded to your adult life, but this you got to share with these folks because this is incredible as well.
Will do. Let me take a sip on that one before I get
Okay.
started. So I grew up for the most part, and my youngest memories take me back to East Side Detroit at about 3 or 4 years old. And I was with my mom and my dad. I have one sibling, a younger sister. And my mom and dad, unfortunately, there was a lot of abuse, a lot of domestic abuse that me and my sister witnessed, and that unfortunately that I was a part of. My dad targeted my mom and he targeted me. And my mom was a genius by rating. When she was 12 and a half, she went through a dental malpractice situation where there was a tooth that was abscessed and infected, and there was a white dentist, because back in these days in rural Virginia there weren't any African American dentists to speak of at all, and even the white dentists would opt not to even treat Black people, and that was that. It wasn't even questioned. But this particular dentist was a chronic alcoholic, and he took advantage of black people at this point, just taking their money and treating them any kind of way. And unfortunately, my grandparents took my mom to this dentist not once but twice, and he just failed to give her proper care, which ultimately led to a tragic infection. She lost the lower half of her face, no jawbone, no teeth, no tongue. Part of her larynx was gone, and that's how she grew up. So she grew up not being able to speak for quite some time, feeding herself intravenously, but at the same time, as a teenager, demanding to go to school. She was, according to some members of my family, one of the smartest, the brightest that they'd ever seen. And she was even, with my grandfather, he relied on her smarts to help him know, what to sell his tobacco for, what to sell the peanuts for. She would listen to the radio and come back with the trade, amounts and such. And so she was older, and she just decided that she was not going to let her handicap slow her down. So here in rural Virginia, how families know each other. The principal of the school did my grandmother a favor by letting my mom come back to school, and said, if there's one problem out of her, she's got to come back home because she has no business being here anyway. But my mom demanded that she go to school, and she stayed to herself. Not only did she graduate from high school, she went on to graduate from business school. Then she went on to graduate from junior college. Then she went on to graduate from four-year college. Then she went on to get her master's degree. And I think by the time my mom got her third or fourth degree of sorts, my sister and myself, we just stopped counting. There was like stacks of certifications, and she was just addicted to knowledge, addicted to school. However, as me being young, my mom sometimes wouldn't speak because people wouldn't be able to understand her anyway, or she would have me to speak for her. So you can imagine, at the age of 4 or at the age of 5, I'm on the phone with the landlord. My mom says she's going to pay the rest of the rent on Wednesday. She has 1/3 of it today. I'm holding these type level conversations. I'm making payment arrangements with the electric company at the age of 6. When we go to the bank, my mom would tell me what she wants to do at the bank, and then I would tell the teller. So I've had that voice, right? I've had that voice, and
Yes.
I never knew how to stop that voice. And I think that God purposed me to be a voice for the voiceless. So not only was I a voice for my mom, who ultimately was very articulate, just a genius in writing and doing so many other things. She went on to become a pharmaceutical chemist with Pfizer. That's where she retired. But she ran many blood banks at several hospitals between Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and Virginia. She just did awesome things with her life. And I tell people, if she was not my mom and I was just watching her from across the street, she would still be my hero. She would still be that woman that I say, I just want to be like her. And I'm just so blessed that she was indeed my mom. Rest her soul. She left here on the 16th, in 2016. But and my mom was my worst critic, but my number one supporter. She was my friend, my business partner, my confidant. She was everything to me. So to lose her after losing my son, it changed the trajectory of how I look at life and friendships and relationships and such.
And I just have to say, wow. First of all, the fruit does not fall from far from the tree. And I tell you, because one day I just literally had to sit and say, who is this lady? Because this lady is just not normal at all. And it's totally authentic. And, just hearing your story, hearing about your mom, it was just a wow, like, oh my goodness, wow. And to know that you have been negotiating and talking to folks about things since you were 5 and 6 years old, like it has done well for you. And I can tell you all, I can look at something and I think I pay attention to details, but Kimberly Booker, my friends, she will dissect something and come back with 10 things I didn't see. And like, did you know this, and this? So y'all better watch out if you're trying to put anything over to Kimberly Booker, because it ain't going down. So let me ask you a question. So when did you get into the cryptocurrency space?
So my son mentioned Bitcoin to me back in like 2016 or so. There was a link between Bitcoin and these cards, these graphic cards that he wanted for his gaming system. And this is how they use Bitcoin to trade different functions on the gaming or whatever. Whatever he was talking about, I remember in 30 seconds dismissing him and telling him to close my bedroom door on his way out. So that was in 2016. And ironically enough, maybe the next year in 2017, my son came to me and told me about one of his friends who was buying a Tesla the next year with his Bitcoin money that he had invested. So I was like, you talking about little Calvin? He was like, yeah, he was doing that Bitcoin thing. Remember I was telling you about? He was like, well, he's doing good. He's bought a Tesla. I'm like,
you like open my door and come in here. Instead of close my door, open it and get up in here.
And so that really opened my mind. And being a natural researcher, I started researching it, but I really wasn't ready to take my jump yet. And I got involved in other things. But in 2019, late 2019, I was ready to jump. I had enough faith that, 2020 is going to be my year. So I subscribed to, Wall Street Trapper. So I became a trapper with Wall Street Trapper. And I started watching Earn Your Leisure in 2019. I mean, every day I was on there. I think Trapper would know me by face and name if he ever met me, simply because we dialogue so much through the website. But then 2020 comes and I'm ready to get into this crypto game, and then the pandemic, right? And all I knew was this thing that was inching itself up just went tanked, for what I believed was its history. And so I sort of put it on the back burner, as did the rest of the world, right? Mm-hmm. But when December of 2021, well, maybe right about the summer of 2021, I did my first investment summer of 2020. And then when 2021 came, I really started peeling back the onion, Najah. Like, what is this thing? I don't want to just be an investor. I want to get the understanding of the logic. So I read the white paper, started watching YouTube videos, and then came beautiful Clubhouse, my tribe.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so you came into Clubhouse, and for those of you that don't know, there are a lot of us that actually congregated on Clubhouse from the very beginning. We're not founders per se, but we have been there from the beginning
Yep.
and really working and trying to help each other understand, because I think we were all learning some things that we didn't know at the onset of Clubhouse. And, and I have to say this because a lot of people are like, why are you on Clubhouse? And you don't, it's not our actual platform. You making somebody else rich. And I was like, you know what? I'm sorry. This is just one of those that I'm just going to have to get on, because I have met some bona fide real people that are not fake, they're not phony, they are not trying to act like they're better than thou. It just was a group of people that was just awesome.
Yeah.
And so that is where we met.
Yeah.
And again, we didn't even really know about each other until last month, I would say, a month before last. But so once you got your feet wet in the cryptocurrency space, you moved to another level.
Yeah.
That a lot of us didn't move to. And I want you to tell us about that journey. And I want you to be real about that journey, because I want to say to you, like I'm going to say to everybody else, when the opportunity to mine Bitcoin was actually given to me in 2014, 2015, I thought I was beyond that, because I was a financial advisor and I didn't really need to mine for Bitcoin. But I will tell you, the mining opportunity that I missed has allowed my husband's best friend to add 3,500 square feet to his house, free and clear.
Yeah.
And the other friend lives on a yacht, free and clear. And so while I kick myself in the backside every time I look at that old mining machine that actually sits in my lobby as a reminder never to pass up an opportunity,
Yeah.
you took your idea and came to the Black Bitcoin Billionaires first, and I want you to be real about what the reception was and how you had to proceed. So share with us what that looked like.
Sure. So let me just touch on this very lightly. Bitcoin mining is that machine, that computation power that it takes to verify the transactions that come on the blockchain. And so miners are people like me, but they're also pieces of equipment that do that with their brains, their computation power. So just by me explaining that arena is pretty much shaped like your 20-something white techie guys, your nerds, your gamers. They really have this Bitcoin mining space on lock. So that industry in and of itself does not look like me, does not look like Najah. That's just the truth, right?
And you're absolutely right. And let me just say this really quick. Big shout out to White Boy Mike. That's what we call him.
Yeah.
Shout out to White Boy Mike. He is a very good friend, but his mining machine that I can kick myself in the butt, that's whose mining machine is in the lobby. But go ahead.
So with the mining space, it just doesn't look like us, and it doesn't, the high level tech terms could be off-putting. But I decided, wow, if I'm going to share Bitcoin education with Black and brown people, underserved communities, disenfranchised people, I need to be able to have a whole conversation. Because far be it for there to be one or two Black or brown boys or girls that really would be interested in that And they just don't know about it because I didn't mention it, or I didn't expose them, or I didn't create an experience to expose them. So I at least needed to know have a fundamental knowledge of this Bitcoin mining thing. So once I read about it, I was like, well, hell, I could do this. I mean, I'm gonna have to scrape my brain off and shake it out a little bit, but I can do this. And something about it interests me. And I think the fact that no matter where I researched, where I went, there wasn't a face of color speaking back to me. When I went to YouTube, there wasn't a face of color. When I went to the experts, they weren't people of color. And I just said, okay, so I guess I'm going to do my little best with my, okay, boomer. I'm not quite a boomer, but I'm definitely on that line, right? I said, I'm going to do this. And I dare somebody to stop me. So I went to my community and I looked to see who in my community is mining. Well, I found two individuals, and I went to one of those individuals and I said, listen, I heard that you're doing Bitcoin mining and I would love to do that as well. Would you consider, spending some time with me, mentoring me, giving me some resources to research? I'll do the work. I'm not trying to pick your brain, but I just want some guidance from you. Would you do that? And this person shot me down so badly. It's been when I tell this story all the time, as a grown ass woman, it's been a long time since somebody talked to me in that tone, in that manner, and was that dismissive. And I just had to take it. I was shocked. I could not get past it, but I kept it to myself because I just did not want to be the experience that would keep this person from continuing to share. So I just figured, okay, well, you know what? I'll just figure it out myself. But it hurt, right? It did. It hurt because I felt that surely we would be on the same page here, understanding the disparity of color in this space. But this person went on to tell me it's going to cost you too much. You need to do some research. You need to pay your tuition and go to the school of hard knocks like I did. You need to figure it out yourself. I mean, I was like, what? And then, Najah, you don't know this part. So, but me and this person arranged to see each other face to face in DC when you were coming to speak in DC. So this conversation took place in DC while you were on the microphone speaking. Wow. This conversation. And this person ended the conversation with, so I really just want to hear what Najah has to say right now, but I think I really told you everything that I was going to say about it. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So the only thing I got to say about that is, can you imagine?
Can you imagine? And look where you are today. So we move on from, can you imagine? That's all I got to say. But look at God.
Right. Well, can I tell this part? Yes. Let me tell this part real quick. So I have my little tail tucked and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm trying to decipher SHA-256 from these hexadecimal numbers, from, the halving and the difficulty. I'm trying to get it all together. So Black Bitcoin Billionaires, the club that you and I are in, has a room. They host a Bitcoin mining room, like out of the blue. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I go into the room and the host is one Hispanic guy and one white guy. And this white guy is white. So they are the instructors for this room. Afterwards, I hit up the Hispanic guy who never responded to my message. So I hit up the white guy and I sent him a DM and I just tell him what I want to do and how enthusiastic I am. And I really want to do this. And would he just adopt me? Would he mentor me? I promise I'll do the hard work. So he sends me a list of about 15 videos to watch, 3 articles to read. I mean, something that should have took me a month. So he says, after you finish all of this, get back with me in a month's time and we'll talk. I did that stuff in 2 weeks and I hit him up and he was like, you're finished? And I said,
Wow.
yes, I did some of it twice. He said, I got you. You're the one. You are the one. And that is Marshall Long. And that is my dude. You hear me? And we co-founded BTC Impact with Valton Eason. So
Well, let me say congratulations to you. And your dude is my dude. And
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, I got an email yesterday because your dude is on my back about those minors.
Yeah.
So BTC Impact actually donated minors to Crypto Kids Camp. And I want to say thank you to you all publicly. We haven't been able to plug them in just because there's massive construction going on, but that we were not aware of, but we're trying to figure out what we're going to do from here. But I do want to say thank you to BTC Impact. So what is the mission and goal of BT? Like, you have built a whole company around Bitcoin mining under a year. You're in colleges already. What colleges are you in with these mining machines? Tell us that first.
Sure. So back in September, we made history with the University of Wyoming. The University of Wyoming is actually mining Bitcoin as a part of its curriculum. There's an accredited class. We went there, we set up the mining equipment, we gave them instruction on mining, diagnosis, setup, cleaning, and such, put them on the blockchain. We did their software diagnosis, connected them to a mining pool so that they could actually see what they're doing, and they are actually generating Bitcoin. We do a split with the university for that Bitcoin revenue so that we can continue to purchase machines and refurbish machines and go to the next school. So in exchange for that, and they gave us a beautiful lab. So University of Wyoming, and then after University of Wyoming, we had Texas A&M reach out to us. So we set up a Bitcoin mining club there as well. So there with Professor Karuk, he runs Swirl, which is a nonprofit off of the Mays Business School, Texas A&M. So now Texas A&M is mining Bitcoin. University of Wyoming made history in that they are the first college to mine for Bitcoin. Not a little club, not something that's going on illegal in a frat house, but to actually legitimately mine for Bitcoin, and the school carries that on their balance sheet. So we are very, very excited. And we're looking at yep, HBCUs, y'all up next.
HBCUs. So anybody that has an HBCU, and they can definitely benefit from Bitcoin mining. She talked about revenue share, and all of our HBCUs need revenue. Absolutely. And I went and looked at my mining machines yesterday. I've got to figure out how to get them here to the office until they finish the construction. But we don't have the port, so I got to figure some things out. But we're going to get that done. And all I got to say is, look at God. You went from being totally tail-tucked to being the premier Bitcoin mining company in the U.S. You are partnering with some of the largest Bitcoin mining brands. Yes. To bring Bitcoin miners to organizations. If you have a nonprofit organization, BTC Impact would like to work with you as well. I just, ladies and gentlemen, this is Women's History Month. And this right here, I told y'all she don't weigh more than $105. But she has a big heart, and she has definitely got some big kahunas because she is making some stuff happen. And when she walks up in the place, she commands attention, and she gets the folks, in lines in lockstep, and that's what I'm going to say. So I really am so very humble to have you on today, and just appreciate and thank the Most High for bringing you into my space and into my life. Because I tell you, sometimes I have nobody to ask something, and I will reach out to Kimberly, and y'all, guess who puts the words together perfectly? That would be Kimberly Booker. So I really appreciate it, and I just want you to be able to be appreciated, and for those folks that don't know your story to now know your story
Thank
and understand why you speak with grace and calmness when the rest of us are ready to cuss somebody out and keep it pushing. I had to what so I know y'all say what would Jesus do, and I do that sometimes, but I
you.
also say what would Kimberly do? Kimberly also thinks strategically. Not that Jesus can't give me the answer, but Jesus most of the time is on the passive side. Kimberly is passive and aggressive
Yes.
together. So no, I really appreciate you and all that you do. So what would you say to somebody right now that is looking at the cryptocurrency, blockchain, mining, NFT, metaverse space, and really does not have any direction? What would you say to them? Because maybe they're feeling discouraged, not being able to find somebody to help take them under their wings. What would you say to them?
Sure. So first and foremost, I would say stay encouraged. You are so early in this game, and it might seem overwhelming, but the best way to eat an elephant is one spoonful at a time. We always want to keep our eyes looking in the direction that we want to go, and that's ahead. So go to YouTube. There's no such thing as an expert in Bitcoin or expert in mining. We're all steadily learning every single day. So go to YouTube, get you some good books. Hit some people in their DMs. They'll answer. Believe it or not, they will. Some people will answer you. Come on social media platforms such as Clubhouse. Go to Instagram. Do some research. But whatever you do, stay encouraged, because if this is a place where you feel passionate about, then you can bring your everyday passions to this space and they can evolve there. I was passionate about nonprofit, passionate about Bitcoin. Who would have known that I could merge the two to do what we're doing now in service? So just stay encouraged, use good, reputable resources, reach out to good people with sincerity, authenticity, and be ready to do the work. Just be ready to do the work. And before we end, Najah, I just want to thank the Black Bitcoin billionaires. I want to thank my friends, Black Regal, my friend Dr. Shalair, my friend Charlene, my friend Marshall and Ryan, Big Mar, Isaiah. I want to thank all those moderators that hold that space. I want to thank Clovia. That's my girl. She does so much great work in the community in the background. I want to thank 21 Blue Freedom, my circle cohort of returned citizens who didn't know a damn thing about Bitcoin, and now they got ledgers and they're doing the damn thing. So I'm proud of them. And I certainly want to thank Crypto Kids Camp. The memory of Alexander goes there with every kid that we sponsor. I want to thank Crypto Blockchain, and I want to thank you, Najah. You are the James Brown of Bitcoin. Do you hear what I say? You are the hardest working woman in this Bitcoin showbiz. You have got to know that, sis. So I am grateful for you. Thank you for this platform. I certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you, thank you. And and I know you mean no harm, no foul, but we have to mention that Justin. Because if we don't mention that Justin brought us together. Bitcoin vegan. He brought us a little closer together, because we had to have some heart to hearts about you, Mr. Justin. So we love you and really appreciate you. But I did not want us to go without mentioning you, because you are one of the ones that we hold dear, because you are a returned citizen. And because we know your heart, because we know your mission. And in fact, I'm going to have Justin on the radio tomorrow talking and telling his story. So I'm excited about that. So, but Miss Kimberly Booker, you are real. I'm going to Vermont to the snow for you. Because I would never in my bald-headed life be going to a place colder than where I could go up to the mountain in the snow and come down to 80 degrees, which I just did last week here in California. But I am coming to Vermont. This is my first trip to Vermont. We are going to be roommates, and I am super excited. I cannot wait, and I just really appreciate you. And this is Wine, Women, and Crypto. This is Women's Her Story Month. And I just want to also say to each and every one of you that are listening, if you have not already done so, please go to btcimpact.org, btcimpact.org. I'm going to give a couple of different instructions today. I also need for you all to reach out to me and text me if you are in need of anything. I want to leave btcimpact.org up because I know we may have some questions in the chat. But I also want you all to reach out to me on my and text me. I have a text message number, and we return all your text messages. So please reach out. Believe BTC Impact up right now. Are there any questions or anything that we need to be talking about or answering for our audience today, ladies? And we have we got a fabulous team here. I like these ladies are the business. And so I just appreciate each and every one of them. If you can tell us if there are any questions, if there are not any questions, we are going to move to what we're going to be doing. Let's see. No questions? If there are no questions, I would like to let you all know that this Saturday, we are having a Crypto Essentials event. Crypto Essentials is a Crypto 101, but what we do is really get you started and get you knowing the actual basics, get your wallet set up, and again, get you going. You can do it virtually or you can do it in person. And so I'm really excited about doing another Crypto Essential, and I will ensure that you will get all of your learning done on the Crypto 101 space. But then also, if you need to send me a text message, I ask that you do it, and I'll put that in the chat. It says chat to the other guests. So I'll do that. It's 424-317-7373. So please reach out to me. I'm going to be putting some critical information in the text message about what's happening with Russia. I do know that that Bitcoin just took over the rebel, which is the Russian dollar. So that just happened today. This is an incredible time. We are living in history. If y'all think COVID-19 was something in history, we got some stuff that is about to go down. And I'm so super excited about Bitcoin. And I'm hoping that y'all are stacking your Satoshis while it's cheap, because what I found out today was that Bitcoin was $20,000 higher in Russia for the Russian exchanges. So I wish I was selling Bitcoin in Russia, but I'm selling it right here in the United States. So I can't get any price action on that, but Bitcoin over there is 60,000 plus. So ladies and gentlemen, stack your Satoshis. Make sure that you have at least 1 million Satoshis. That's your base. And then continue to grow from there. As you all know, I'm dollar cost averaging every single day on the Black Wall Street wallet, because a dollar cost average a day keeps poverty away. And last but not least, we have the virtual Underground Railroad. You can go to the virtualundergroundrailroad.io and you can get in the Virtual Underground Railroad. There's lots of information in there already stored, and just really looking to really build community. And so, Kimberly, again, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all that you bring. And if there are any last words, go ahead right now. Yes, ma'am.
Sure. If you want to support BTC Impact and what we're doing, we take any and all donations. We do everything from send kids to crypto camp, to educating college students, to refurbishing minors so that HBCUs and other colleges can teach and help our younger generation make a segue into employment in this sector. So you can make your donations. You can go to www.btcimpact.org and you can donate there. We take cash donations and Bitcoin, or you can send a donation to our Cash App, which is $BTC Impact. Again, that's $BTC Impact. Thank you so very much for listening, and thank you all for your support and your prayers. You are much appreciated. Now, y'all know our tagline. Come and get this orange peel.
With that, we drop the mic. So, ladies and gentlemen, have an incredible rest of your evening. Peace and blessings. Love you, Kimberly Booker, to pieces. I will see you at the top, because none of us in any of our communities live there anymore. Peace and blessings.